Welcome to LeanTrack Consulting. LeanTrack Consulting is a student startup consulting where we have student consultants from universities all around the globe, including one of the best like Harvard, Stanford, London School of Economics. The main mission statement of LeanTrack Consulting is to grow and nurture student startups and help students realize their dream ventures within college itself. This video is a part of online video series to educate young entrepreneurs on how to go about building successful businesses while in college. Hi, I'm your instructor, Shubham Kumar. I'm the founder of LeanTrack Consulting. My credentials: I'm co-founder of Atithi Pleasure. Atithi Pleasure is a travel and hospitality startup operational in New Delhi, India region. What we do is we provide student companions or guides to tourists to provide them with the local feel of the city. With our exclusive offbeat tours, we provide the look and the feel of the city like never before. With our exclusive tours and photo walks, we have started to generate revenue, and Atithi Pleasure is at an early revenue stage. We've got a lot of laurels, winning several business plan competitions across India, and we have been provided with a funding option. I'm a computer science major from NSIT. What I specialize is in strategizing and entrepreneurship at undergraduate level. How I capitalize it with computer science majors is by learning data analytics, clubbing it with Python and R programming, and programming with C++, C, and Java. I'm a strategic management minor from London School of Economics, where we learn how to build successful, sustainable business strategies to sustain market competition, growth, and successful strategic entry into the market, all with a particular aim of making profits. You can contact me at sk14official@gmail.com, or this is my number. You can call in WhatsApp. You can also check on my profile at LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in for India/Shubhamkumar14. Module 2: Business Model Canvas. Brought to you by LeanTrack Consulting. You can visit our website at www.wordpress.leantrack.com. So before we begin with a module with the name of Business Model Canvas, I would like to tell you about where we use Business Model Canvas. Because in the rest part of the video, we'll be talking about how do we use Business Model Canvas, right? So, Business Model Canvas is basically used once you have a particular idea. Now, ideas are something that are ever flowing. So, to strategize and to organize your idea, we come up with something called as a Business Model Canvas, which helps us develop an idea into a business plan. What are ideas? So like in module 1 we did ideation and how can we actually generate ideas. We talked about ideas being synonymous to solutions of a particular problems. And a problem can have multiple solutions. And every of that solution can be turned into a startup or a business idea. And the best solutions to a particular problem turns out to be the successful startup, and the others are not so successful. Now, once you have an idea of what you want to do and how you're going to solve a problem, there are certain elements of doing a business which you require to chalk out. And this is what business model canvas helps you provide. So if you define business model canvas is nothing, it's just a structure to organize your idea and make it into a business idea, a business model, answering all the questions that a prospective investor may ask you in the future. So let's begin. The LeanTrack Consulting Module 2 Business Model Canvas. Okay, so this is what a business model canvas looks like. Now, if you look at this, it has certain boxes and it has a particular set pattern, if you can look here, it has certain diagrams, certain symbols, some words, few boxes, like a sheet, right? So this is what a business model canvas looks like. So designed for, designed by, date and version is something which can omit, because if you are a strategist, then you will be designing business model canvas for different businesses. But if you are a startup founder or a young entrepreneur, you would be designing a business model canvas for your particular startup, right? So you can remove this altogether. Now, before you can start developing business model canvas for your own startup idea, first we need to understand what all these words mean, what all these symbols mean, and how do each of these boxes interact with each other when we develop a business. Okay, so let's start to study each box one by one, gather all the information that each box requires from us, try to fill each boxes according to our particular business idea, and then finally we are ready to go. So, key partners, key activities, key resources. So this is one particular box. If you say this particular square is all the key things that we require, this particular square is the square. So let's try to segregate the business model canvas first. So the way I'll segregate the business model canvas is I'll segregate this square and I'll segregate this square and I'll segregate this rectangle in the center. I'll segregate this rectangle at the bottom and I'll segregate this rectangle in the bottom. So if we try to count total number of segregations, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your business model canvas can be effectively divided into 5 segregations. Let's try to study the first segregations, which is the key members, key partners, key activities, key resources. The way I like to call it is the supply side. So these are your suppliers, the ones who provide you with all the methodologies, all the resources, all the things that you need to start your business. This is your value proposition. This provides what you are providing to your customer. So how you build your product using all the threes, and then what is the use of that product to your customer goes under value proposition. That means when you're charging something from your customer, what are you providing to your customer in return of that fee that you're charging from him? That comes under value proposition. And finally, this checkbox is your demand side or your customer side. That what and how do you develop your customers? So if you see, this is a straight line which actually acts as a flow and line of control. You develop and you get product here and you take all the resources that you need. From here you decide what are you providing to your customer and also effective costing. And here you go to your customer. So this square is the supply side. This square is the demand side, and this square is what initiates the demand from the supply, like why the customer will buy, or why the customer will play, or why the customer is paying, and for what is he paying. Let's look at the bottom two things now: cost structure and revenue streams. So right now I'm not actually explaining you each segregate boxes, but I'm explaining to you all the segregations. I'm simply explaining to you this demand side, the supply side, the value proposition or generation of demand, revenue streams, and cost structure. So cost structure refers to what all are you paying for. You as a business, you as an entrepreneur, what are you investing? What are you paying for to your suppliers? This is the cost structure. Revenue stream is what are you getting paid for, and what all things are you providing that the demand side or the customer is paying you. And cost structure is basically what all you are paying to your suppliers or the supply side. So if I to the cursor, if I show the direction of the flow of money, it goes from this to this, and from here it goes from this to this. So consumer is paying you for your product is the revenue stream, and you are paying your suppliers for resources and partnerships and activities is the cost structure. Now, once we have effectively understood what all segregations are there in a business model canvas, the supply side, the demand side, what all you need to pay your suppliers, what the demanders pay you, and why do you pay you, and how do they pay you, and how do you initiate a demand via value propositions. Now let us understand what each of these separate boxes mean. So what does key partners mean? What does key activities mean? What does key resources mean? What does value proposition means? What does customer relationships? What does customer segments, channels, revenue stream, and cost structure means? And these symbols are somewhat important. All right. So here we come at a very detailed explanation of business model canvas. So you see, earlier we segregated business model canvas into 5 parts. We combined all these three, and then these three. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we are studying each box separately. So now we have segregated business model canvas into the total number of boxes that it had, which is nothing but 9. So let's start with here. Although once we have effectively understood the business model canvas, we'll come to realize that we start with a value proposition. But now let's, for starters, start from here. So what do you mean by key partners? Key partners mean who all will help you in your startup. Now, who all will help me in my startup? Right? So they can be other businesses, or they can be segregated suppliers who provide me with parts, who provide me with resources, or they can be other businesses who I tie up with for provision of resources that I can't generate myself. Or even if they are the resource providers for services that I generate myself. So I need to identify key partners who will be there for my business. Key activities. What the business that I'm doing, how that business is being done. That is key activity. How do you do it? Whether you run an app, or a website, or ground sales, whatever, door to door, whatever you're doing, what all activities transpire to develop your product from key resources into a product and taking your product to your customer, what all activities take place is the key activities. So basically, your value chain is something that you have to define. What you need is the key resources, right? What do you need to start your business? Now, let's say that you need a website. So is a website a key resource or an activity? Is website helping you sell your product or is website helping you build your product? That's how we define key activity or a key resource. If something is helping you build your product, that is a resource. If something is helping you sell your product, that is an activity. Website helps you sell your product. Therefore, website is an activity. You sell through online. For your product, you need resources which build it. So you need web developers. A website is an activity. A web developer is a key resource. Similarly, an app is a key activity, whereas an app developer is a key resource. And for an app developer, you can partner with certain organizations which provide you with an app developer who builds your app. So partners provide you with resources, and finally resources are transpired in activities. And sometimes partners also help you with activities. So you can partner with an organization that directly builds a website for you. Or you can partner with an organization that provides you with a web developer in your team which builds a website for you. So therefore we have all these connections, right? So key partners can help you give you key resources, or they can also help you give key activities. Now we move to value propositions. What do you do? So basically, if you are a startup, you decided that's what is the idea. This is the main white box, is the crux of your startup, is the crux of your business model canvas. This is the idea. What do you do? What value do you propose? How do you provide value to your customer? What problem is your startup solving and how is it solving a problem? To solve that particular problem, what all resources you need, how would you do that, and who will help you in that? Finally, who will be your customers? So who all face the same problems and for whom the problems will be solved? How would you reach your customers? So how would you reach and how would you make sure that this solution to the problem reaches to all those who have the problem? And who do you help? Right? So these are your customers. So who do you help? Who are facing the similar kind of problems? Right? How do you reach them? How do you reach to the people who are facing the similar kind of problems that you're trying to solve by your idea? And how do you interact with them? How do you make sure and how do you develop consumer relations for them to come and buy your product, right? And in doing so, what will it cost you to provide a solution? This is your cost structure. So how much will you be paying for key partners? How much will you be paying to get all those resources? And how much will you be paying to do all these activities to reach to your customer? Is your cost structure. And how much would you be charging these particular customers to provide them to a solution to a problem is basically how much will you make, your revenue stream. So this was a business model canvas defined, right? So let's quickly, so in the starting of this slide, I said that if we are starting with here, but once we are done, we'll realize we have to start from here, as this image shows you. So why? Because once you have an idea, only then can you decide what all things that you need, what all activities will take place, who will help you out, who will be your customer, how would you reach your customer, And how do you interact with them? How do you make sure that they come to you for a solution? And only when you've decided how would you reach your customer and who would be your customer, you can decide how much you will ask them to pay to you. And only when you know who are your resources, your partners, and activities that you need to take place, only then you decide how much will it cost you. So you see, once you have an idea, only then can you build all the other boxes. But if you don't have an idea, if you don't know what you're going to do, what problem are you going to solve, and how are you going to solve that problem, you cannot go to different boxes. So value proposition, basically what your customers are paying to you, why are they paying to you, and what you're trying to do is something that we need to define first. And only then can we move to different boxes. So we have actually defined what is a business model canvas. We have segregated business model canvases to 5 parts: the supply, the demand, the initiation of demand, like why is there a demand, that is what you do, how much are you paying your suppliers, and how much are you getting paid by your demanders. In the next slide, we defined each and every segregated 9 boxes. We segregated the supply into 3 parts: the key partners who will help you, the key activities as to how you're conducting your business, the key resources is what you need to conduct your business. Value proposition is basically what you're trying to do, the solution to the problem, and why the customers are paying you. Consumer relation is how do you interact with your customer and make sure that they come to you for a solution and not some other business. Distribution channel is basically how do you reach your customers. And consumer segment or customer segment is basically who do you want to help? For whom do you want to solve the problem? And the problem that you're trying to solve, who are the other groups of people who are facing the same kind of problem? Cost structure is what will it cost to start up your business and to run it effectively. That is, how much are you going to pay your key partners, and how much are you going to pay to get all those key resources, and how much money are you going to spend to carry out all the key activities. And finally, we go to revenue stream, is how much will you make, how much money do you make, as in how much money will you charge from that customer segment who you're trying to help to provide them help. In the end, if your revenue stream is more organized than your cost structure, or the amount of money which you make is more than what it costs, then you're making profits. As simple. And all those businesses in which a revenue stream is more stronger than its cost structures, or in simpler words, the money that you make is more than what it costs to you, or the money that you're charging from the consumer segment or the demand side is more than what you're paying to the supply side, then in all those startups, they are profitable, they are sustainable, and can easily grow. All the other startups come to an end when they start to face the heat, when they pay more to the supplier and get less from the demanders. Now towards the end of the video, let's try to understand how all each of these boxes interact with each other. Now that we know what each of these boxes means. So, to understand how all this is being worked out, let's try to understand all these symbols. Alright. So let's go for the previous ones. So the links, the activities, the resources, the value propositions, the consumer relations, the channels, the customers, the revenue streams, and the cost structure. Right? So let's go for that. Alright. So this is the cost structure. This is the revenue model. This is your channel. This is your customer relations. This is your consumer. This is your value propositions. This is your key activities. This is your key partners. And this is your key resources. Now, it's a very good image to understand how all it functions. Now, these key partners help you in your key activities and key resources. And with the help of these resources and these activities, and all the money that you need to provide them to these partners and getting all these resources. After doing all that, you develop this gift, which is your value proposition or your product or the solution to the problem. Now, this product, you need to take it to this guy or this consumer. So, the key partners help you develop this box by the means of few activities and resources. And for getting all these resources from the key partners or individually and carrying out all these activities, you need this money to pay to them, which is your cost. And after doing all these things, you develop this box or gift, which is your value proposition or your startup idea or what you're trying to do, and your product, which you want to give to your consumer, but not for free, because you have spent getting this box. Now you want to give this box to your consumer, and you're asking some amount of money from the consumer. Now this box needs to be taken to the consumer, but there's some gap in between. So now you have two channels, this one and this one. Now, as depicted in the picture, you can either take one of the channels to reach your consumer. But in practice, you need both of these channels. So, this box reaches to this customer by the channels or by your marketing strategies or how you're going to take your product to your consumer. At the same time, your relations and how you're interacting with your consumer will define via this. Even if one of the bridge breaks, you won't be able to take it. If the consumer decides, even if you're able to reach your consumer, but the consumer is not satisfied and he decides to go for a different solution, you're not able to take the gift to this person. Or the consumer knows that this solution is the best for the consumer, but the consumer does not know about the solution. That means this bridge is broken. You're not able to take this gift to the consumer. Then also you cannot make this money. So you need both these bridges to be functional at the same time. The consumer knows about your product through this truck channel, and at the same time consumer knows that this is the best solution to the problem that he's facing through this hard channel, and you're able to take this. So this is your value proposition, this is your entire consumer side, this is your supplier side, this is the cost structure, and this is the revenue. So for now, for all those startup entrepreneurs and young minds who were watching this video, we have come to the end of Module 2, the Business Model Canvas. Now, what you can do is that before you start developing a similar business model canvas and filling each of these boxes with your idea, I would recommend you to go and find any startup, existing startup, and try to fill the box for that startup and understand how you're doing it. And once you've done it for 2 or 3 established startups, you can start filling these boxes for your startups. So you can print this, or what you can do is you can print this sheet, or you can make your own this kind of sheet by stick-ups or drawings, and you can start filling these boxes with respect to your idea. That in your particular idea, who are your key partners, what key activities are going to take places, what are the key resources you require, how much money do you require, what problem are you trying to solve, who are your customers, why would they only go for you. That so consumer relation is more like competitive advantage as well. Channel is how are you going to reach your customer, and revenue stream is basically how much you're going to charge them and how you're going to make money. So for what all things are you going to charge your customer. Thank you for watching the video. We completed Module 2, the Business Model Canvas. You can follow us on LeanTrack Consulting, and you can go to our website at www.wordpress.leantrack.com, and you can contact us if you have any queries regarding your startup. We consult student startups and we solve their problems, and we even appreciate all those young minds who want to be entrepreneurs but do not have an idea. We even welcome such students. Stay tuned for more videos. This was Shivam Kumar signing off.